Caroline from Minerva here with another video full of lots of sewing inspiration for you. Don't forget to hit subscribe so that you never miss a new video from us here at Minerva. This video I'm talking to you all about sewing for the family, so we've got lots of different patterns and fabrics to look through today. Everything I talk about is listed below, and you can also save this video to your favourites, so it's really easy for you to come back and find again if you need to watch it back at a later stage. Sewing for the family. Right, we're going to start by looking at a couple of men's sewing patterns. Now, I know some people might get a little bit put off by sewing men's patterns. They've got a bit of a notoriously bad name, think they're a little bit tricky, but I've chosen a couple that I think are really good ones to get started with. I actually asked my husband, what would you like me to make you if I was to make you something? So I've got a couple of these ideas from him. As I said, they don't have to be tricky. They don't have to be the tailored things that we automatically think of when we think of men's sewing patterns. And as I'm filming this, it's just creeping into winter here in the UK. So we're starting to think about our warm, snuggly winter makes. And that's why I've started by looking at a couple of jumper patterns. So first of all is the Thread Theory Kamana sweater, which you can see on the screen now. And as you can see, there are different options, so you can really make it to how you want it, depending on who you're making it for. You can have it with a hood, without a hood, or you can have it as a full zip-up jacket rather than a pull-over-the-head hoodie. Entirely up to you, and there's also an optional front pocket as well, depending on how complicated you want to make it. The next jumper pattern is a birder sewing pattern, again number 6718, which is on the screen now. And exactly the same, we've got a couple of different options here. You can have it with the hood, or it's a different kind of neck. It's a sort of more of a rolled neck, so really nice snuggly collar on this one. And again, you can have it with the optional pocket. Both of these are fairly easy sewing patterns as well to get started with. And we're now just going to have a quick look at a couple of different fabric options to give you an idea of what kind of thing would work with these patterns. Here I've got two fleece back sweatshirt fabrics. I've chosen a couple of plain fabrics just because I want to talk about the type of fabric more than the sort of the colours and the pattern. However, you can get lots of different colourways and prints on this sweatshirt fleece fabric now. There is so much available. It's great for loungewear, hoodies, sweaters, jackets, also great for jogging bottoms as well, that sort of thing. So I have chosen a army green. So it looks a little bit more grey on the camera, but it is an army green. And on the back is, what's the important bit is actually the type of fabric, which is the fleeced back. So you can see there, that's the fleecy back, and that is really soft and helps keep that warmth of the fabric there as well. So if you have got a hoodie made in this and you've got a short sleeve t-shirt underneath, that is going to feel really nice against your skin. It's got a good amount of stretch as well, so if you are making a pullover jumper or hoodie, then you've got that good amount of stretch there to actually get it over your head. And this is an aqua colour. You can see completely contrast in colour, and that's just to give you an idea that you can get really bright, bold colours as well. You don't have to go for the typical sort of menswear colours, I suppose. I picked that one, I suppose, because I've seen a very similar colour in my husband's wardrobe. So that is quite a typical go-to menswear colour, but doesn't mean you have to stick with that. As you can see, there are some really bright, bold colours available. This is an aqua colour, and again, that fleece lining on the back there, which makes it perfect for warm, snuggly clothing. And again, a nice amount of stretch with the sweatshirting fabric as well. We've looked at a warm, snuggly make. I'm now just going to have a quick look at a men's shirt pattern. Again, you can see it on the screen here. This is a McCall's pattern, and I've chosen this one. I mean, there's so many different shirt patterns to choose from. So it's really just having a look through. This one I like because it's got different sleeve variations, and it looked a fairly easy pattern to get started with. I've never made a shirt before, so I wouldn't want to choose anything too complicated. This has got short sleeves, and then it's got 3 different styles of long sleeves with different sort of cuffs on. Personally, I'd probably start with a short sleeve just because you haven't got to worry too much about the fit of the length of the arm. So that might be quite an easy one to get started with. And again, you can put pockets on, one pocket, no pockets, entirely up to you. There is so many different types of cotton shirting fabric available. You can make some really funky shirts. I've seen some that have got 2 blocked colours on, so one colour on the left, one on the right. Once you're used to making the pattern, you can really start playing around with fabrics for shirts to make them something a little bit different and unique. I've pulled a few cotton shirting fabrics that we're going to have a look at now. Again, these are just a couple of options for cotton shirting that I have chosen. And I've again chosen 2 quite different styles of fabric. And this is a Lady McElroy cotton shirting, really lightweight. You can see it is actually slightly see-through there, so it is a really nice lightweight cotton shirting. Because it's a cotton, it's really soft and really nice against the skin. This pattern way I thought would be great for a sort of a going out smarter type style of shirt. It's navy background with a sort of a beigey check square pattern all over it. It's a small all over pattern, so you haven't got to worry too much about pattern matching down the side seams and things. So if you haven't done shirts before, then that's probably a good option to go for. You haven't got to worry about where you cut the fabric out and how it joins together at the seams. And this one I've chosen is more of a smart wear office style pattern of shirting, I suppose. It's a pink check stripe. So you've got a very small check in the middle of the stripes there. One thing I will say is if you haven't used stripes before or you haven't made a shirt before, what you've got to obviously make sure is that the stripes are perfectly vertical going down the front of the shirt. So that might be just something to think about. You have to be a little bit more accurate when you're cutting out if you're using stripes in any sort of make or garment, especially if you want those stripes to match at the seams. But you can see 2 types of cotton shirting, completely different to make completely different style of shirts. So again, you can have a look through all the different cottons shirting fabric available on Minerva website. I've just picked out 2 random that I like the look of. And what's great about Minerva website, don't forget, is if you see a pattern or a fabric that you like, if you scroll down, you can see what other people have made in that fabric. Then if they've posted it to the Minerva profile. So that's always a great way to get inspiration as well. So while we're talking about cotton shirting, so we've talked about them using them for shirts, but it's also great for pyjama bottoms. So I've made pyjama bottoms for myself and for my husband using a cotton shirting. Great for lightweight summer pyjama bottoms because of the lightness of the fabric. And there are some great fabrics available. Something like this, quite traditional tartan here. So something like this in a pyjama bottom trousers. I've just picked out a new look pattern because it's got a both female and male pattern, so you can make yourself matching pyjamas, which who doesn't want matching pyjamas? And as I said, a lightweight cotton shirting fabric makes brilliant fabric pyjamas for the summer, those warmer months. And you can of course make them into shorts, so you can make them any length you want once you've got the pattern. Obviously with the check, you might want to think about pattern matching. So you might need to take a little bit more care when cutting the fabric. You might also need to order a little bit extra, but it depends how fussy you want to be when you're making pyjama bottoms, because not many people are going to see them, let's be honest, so it doesn't really matter too much about that. If you want warmer pyjamas, then of course you can use something like a brushed cotton flannel. Again, I've chosen a check just because I think check pyjamas look great, that sort of traditional look of style. And this is a brushed cotton flannel. It's a Robert Kaufman one, and you can just see how much thicker that fabric is to help keep you warm in the winter. And it's a really nice soft feel to it on both sides as well. So something like a brushed cotton flannel for warmer pyjamas, cotton shirting for summer. You've got lots of different options there. As I said, I've picked out the New Look pyjama pattern because it gives you the options there to make both male and female. And we are, of course, talking about making for the whole family. While we're talking about nightwear, I want to show you this next pattern that I've picked out. So this is a family dressing gown pattern by Simplicity. As you can see, you've got all the different options there. You've got male, female, adults and the children options there. So this really is a pattern for the whole family. We're all in need of new dressing gowns in my household, so I'm very tempted to make us all matching. I've chosen two fabrics that look very similar on the camera. The pink is a fleece fabric, and then the stars are a plush fabric, so plush cuddle. Now they look very similar, but in terms of feel, the plush cuddle is softer to the touch on both sides. You can see it's really fluffy on there, and it's a little bit lighter in weight, a little bit more drapey. Be warned, it does create an awful lot of fluff when you're cutting it out. I've used plush fabric for blankets. And then the polar fleece is still very soft, but it hasn't got that sort of silky soft touch. And it's a little bit sturdier in weight. Okay, so two options there, perfect for dressing gowns for all the family. And you can see you've got lots of different patterns available, some really great ones for the children, like this pink heart, something like a blue star for maybe the adults or the boys, or you can just get plain, so you can just get plain colours as well. But a great pattern, perfect for all the family, is the dressing gown pattern by Simplicity, 1562. Next up, we're going to start looking at some children's sewing patterns. There is so many children's sewing patterns to choose from. I've tried to choose a good range of that you could use for both girls and boys, because there are a lot more choices for girls than boys, it has to be said. So I've chosen some really great patterns that will give you ideas for both. We're going to start by looking at a couple from the Poppy and Jazz collection. So they've got a whole range of children's patterns. I've chosen a couple. The first one is the dungarees, which you can see on the screen now. Now, these are what they call the dandelion dungarees, which are great. They can be unisex depending on what fabric you decide to make them up in. These only go up to 24 months, so it is bear thinking about, obviously, if you want to, how long you want that pattern to last you. So some of their patterns go up to 24 months, but some of them go up to 6 years, like the strawberry sweatshirt, which you can see on the screen now. Again, great unisex pattern. Depending on what fabric you choose to make it in, you can make it to suit a girl or a boy, or you can make it neutral if you're making it for someone who doesn't necessarily know what they're going to have, because you can make it in those tiny baby sizes as well. And I said this one's great because it goes up to 6 years. So you'll really get the most out of that pattern. I always trace off the ages because if I'm making them for my own girls, children grow so quickly, so I don't want to cut out a size and then not be able to use that pattern again. So especially I've got 2 girls, different ages, so I always trace off the age I need at that moment, and then I've got the other ages still to use as they grow. So do have a look at the range from Poppy and Jazz because they are really easy to sew as well. I've got the strawberry sweatshirt cut out ready to make for a little boy who our friends have just had. So they are really easy, really good instructions and really sort of trendy patterns as well. Moving on to something that is very much for newborns. So it might be that you want to make for family or friends that have had a recent new arrival. Sometimes it can be hard to know what to gift people, and a homemade outfit always goes down really well. So this is a new look pattern, and this only goes up to around about 12 months. I think it's done on weight, so obviously it depends on the child. So it's roughly 12 months of age, but from newborn. So it is obviously a much more specific age range, but great if you know that you're going to be making a lot of them in that sort of age range for yourself or for other people. And it's a more traditional looking little baby style dress. And we're going to have a look at some fabric now. For the new look baby dress that we just mentioned, I've picked out this really nice gingham fabric. Now, this is available in loads of different colours. If you head to Minerva website, you'll be able to see all the different colourways. This is the pale blue. Now, this it's a lightweight fabric, so perfect for a summer baby dress. Really lightweight, lots of really breathable, and a really gorgeous traditional looking print for that baby item of clothing. But again, anything in a cotton would work really well for that style of baby dress as well, or a polycotton, because obviously cotton can crease quite easily, which isn't always very practical for a little baby crawling around and running around causing chaos. The next pattern I'm going to look at is the New Look 6880, which you can see on the screen now. Now this actually goes up to age 4, and you've got lots of different options here, and this is great. I've chosen this one because it caters for both girls and boys. So you can see you've got lots of different options there. You've got trousers, skirts, and different styles tops as well. And I'm sure you could quite easily turn the trousers into shorts as well. So I've chosen a couple of funky prints for this. Again, these are a cotton fabric. Just grab this one out. So, cotton poplin fabric. The next couple I'm going to show you are from Rose and Hubble. Cotton poplin is great. It's a nice weight of fabric. Nice lightweight for kids' clothing. And you can see this is a really fun print. Perfect for children. Really busy all over pattern. So you can worry about matching it if you want to, but it wouldn't really matter. And another option there again is a Rose and Hubble cotton poplin, which is nice, bright, multicoloured stripes with unicorns. Perfect for little girls, and obviously you can match it with plain fabrics quite easily. So there are loads of cotton fabrics available on Minerva in plain fabrics, and sometimes it's really nice just to do something fairly plain. You can always add details on if you've got an embroidery machine, or if you like to do hand embroidery. You can, or even just some of the decorative stitches that are built into your machine. You can make a plain fabric just something a little bit different. Something like this, a bit more generic. This could work for a boy or a girl. And a multicoloured spotty fabric. Again, another cotton fabric. Cotton fabric is great because it's so washable. You have one really bright, funky fabric, and then choose any of these colours here to make the other garment in something a little bit more plain. So with kids clothing, it's great because you can really experiment with different colours and fabrics, because a lot of them will just love anything you make for them. It's only as they get older that they start to get a little bit more fussy. Of course, you don't just have to make clothes, there are accessories available as well. So hats, for example, are a great little make for children. This hat pattern goes up to about age 3, I believe, and you've got lots of different styles, and this can be a real fun make. You can experiment with lots of different fabrics for this. You can make something really quirky and unique, and a great alternative to making garments if you don't want to make clothing, because you know they will grow out of it fairly quickly, especially in those first few months of being born. So a hat or an accessory is a great idea. Which moves me on to, again, we're not just talking about garments, you can make toys. So there are some great toy patterns now available. I've picked a couple out, which we're going to have a look at. First of all is a McCall's dinosaur pattern, which you can see on the screen here. Again, different options. You can make different things. And then also a bird pattern, which is more sort of generic baby toys, the balls. You can make the comb with the rings to go on top. What's great is that you can add things inside. So you can add rattles because they all need to be stuffed. You can add rattles, squeakers, all sorts of things in there to make them really sensory for the children. So, as I said, we don't just have to talk about garment making, especially for children. There are lots of other things that you can make for them as well. I've got a pile of cotton fabrics. Some of them are craft cotton, some of them are the Rose and Hubble cotton fabrics. Spots and plains. Now, this is just to give you an idea. When it comes to making sort of soft toys, you can mix and match all sorts of different fabrics. I've chosen some fairly generic ones that would work for sort of most ages. Spots always go down well, and you can team them with a plain as well if you don't want patterned all over. So all these are really great for the sort of the crafting, soft toys. Fairly lightweight, easy to sew with, easy to work with as well. So these are the colours I've got here are pastel turquoise, yellow and bright red. These are the Rose and Hubble cotton spot fabrics. There are many more colourways available, so do click on the link to the fabric on Minerva website to see the different options. I chose this spot because it's a nice small ditzy print, so you can get, if you are cutting out for toys, if you're cutting out smaller sections of fabrics, it's always worth thinking about how big that pattern is on there, because you might not actually see most of it if you're cutting out smaller pieces. So that's why I chose a small spot, and then some complementary plain fabrics as well, because it can just be plain. If you're cutting lots of fabric and joining them together to make a soft toy, for example like the dinosaurs, you don't necessarily need any patterns. You can just stick with plain fabrics. and you can just mix and match all sorts together. And this is a craft cotton, so it's 100% cotton, great for soft toys and crafts. By Hand London recently launched a By Hand London Kids. So there's 3 patterns now, and they are the Little Hannah, which you can see on the screen, the Little Anna, and the Little Flora. Now, what's great about these is they are miniature versions of adult patterns already produced by Hand London. So if you want to have matching outfits, then these are perfect to have a look at. I'm going to look a little bit more closely at the Little Flora. I've made this dress numerous times for my 2 little girls. It starts from 2 and it goes right up to the age of 13. So again, an even broader range, so a really great pattern to cover a long time as your child grows. And I found it a really easy make, and I actually managed to make them slightly smaller as well. So there's not a huge amount of pattern pieces and they're fairly simple. So I did manage to scale it down to fit my 18-month-old at the time. So this is one example, and this is made using the Liberty London Tana Cotton Lawn in the red. And this was a perfect fabric because it's a really lightweight fabric, really easy to sew with, and perfect for the summer. But you can also put a long sleeve under the top to make it sort of an all year rounder as well. Went down really well with both my girls, especially my 4-year-old, because she loves a dress that as you turn around, the skirt flares out as wide as possible, which the Little Flora does, especially in a lightweight fabric like this cotton lawn. So that is how it looks when it's made up, and there's different sleeve options as well, which is nice. So you can have it have a ruffle, have a tie, or just have plain strap without the ruffle. I've done all 3 versions actually, and I used this pattern to make my daughter's christening dress, so it worked really well with a slightly heavier weight fabric as well. That's the By Hand London Kids range. As I said, they go from the age 2 up to 13, so if you are going to buy that pattern, you don't have to worry that they're going to outgrow it quickly if you've got a fairly young child that you're making for at the moment. While we're talking about sort of older children, so that teenage years, I've also picked out this jumpsuit pattern from New Look 6444, and this goes up to age 16. And what's great is you've got the different options there as well. So you've got lots of different styles. You can make it short, you can make it trousers, you can make it knee length. And I've chosen this Lady McElroy crepe fabric just as an example. It's really lightweight, great drape. So if you are doing the sort of the dress version, that would look really nice and flowing, perfect for the summer. And it's quite a big bold print as well, and obviously as you're sort of coming into that sort of 14, 15, 16, they won't want the sort of the baby ditzy print, so something like this works really well. So this is the Lady McElroy crepe Charlie Gardena. Also work well for something like the By Hand London Little Flora dress as well that we were just talking about. Lastly, we're going to have a look at some ladies sewing patterns. First of all, I want to show you the By Hand London Hannah dress, which, if you remember, we had a look at the By Hand London Kids. They do a Little Hannah version now. So I wanted to show you an example of one of the adult patterns. So the By Hand London Hannah, which is displayed on the screen now. Really great, easy make as well. And as I said, you've now got the adult version and the Little Hannah version. So as this is about sewing for the family, I wanted to show you that you can have those matching dresses. Next, one of my favourites, and I've chosen the Calais shirt dress because I made this quite a few years ago now, and what I loved is that I could carry on wearing it when I became pregnant. So that's why I've chosen this, because it was a great make that covered through different stages of my life. As I said, I made it about 6 years ago, and I found that when I became pregnant, I could still wear it because of the style and the fitting. It's quite a loose fit, and the fabric I used had a little bit of stretch in it as well, so it worked really well as a maternity dress. Leads me nicely onto the next pattern that I wanted to show you, which is a maternity pattern, in particular a nursing top. So it's for that stage, you've had your baby and you want something nice to wear whilst you're breastfeeding. It's not always that easy to find, so I wanted to show you that maternity patterns are available. The nursing top pattern that I've chosen is on the screen now. You can see it is a Jaylee Sewing 3132 nursing pattern. Now what's great is that there are now these kind of patterns available. Having been in that stage in my life, sort of with maternity wear, I found a struggle to find things that were my style, that didn't look sort of quite frumpy, and sort of, they're practical, but they didn't look brilliant if you wanted to go out. So the fact that there are patterns now available that you can choose your fabric, style to suit you, is absolutely brilliant. So for this, I've chosen this Lady McElroy fabric. This is a jasmine gold, and you can see it's a nice goldy colour with these really gorgeous dragonflies on, and it's really stretchy as well. It's got a good amount of stretch to it. Great for that kind of pattern. So again, there are loads of different cotton jerseys and fabrics available that would suit perfectly with that style. And like I've said before, if you are looking at a product on Minerva, whether it's the fabric or the pattern, if you scroll down, you'll see that if anyone else has made that and posted it to the Minerva profile, it'll automatically show up underneath the product. So it's a great way of getting inspiration and ideas of what you could possibly use to make that pattern with as well. Another fabric that would work great, this is a lighter weight jersey fabric, and this is a Robert Kaufman cotton jersey. You can see it's lighter weight, it's got a little bit more drape to it, depending on maybe the time of year. If you want something a little bit lighter weight, a little bit more breathable, then go for something that's a little bit more of a lighter weight jersey, like this cotton mod jersey from Robert Kaufman. Thank you for watching another video from us here at Minerva. Everything I've talked about is listed below. Don't forget, if you haven't already, you can go and make your own Minerva profile, and you can upload all the pictures of the makes so that we can see exactly what you've been sewing. And it also helps other sewers and makers as well, to give them inspiration if they're looking at making a similar thing. Don't forget as well, you can save this video so you can find it easier if you want to re-watch it again. Thank you again for watching, and I hopefully see you all again very soon.